Hello, it's Charles Lewis again, author of The Diamond Mind, The Law of Attraction, based on ancient scriptures and modern day practitioners. Amazon, iTunes, Audible. So, I have a scripture I want to read to you today, and I'm going to talk a little bit about it. It comes from Matthew 13, um, 11 through 12, the RSV translation. It reads, "For to him who has will more be given, and he will have abundance. But from him who has not, even what he has will be taken away." When I first read that scripture a long time ago, it didn't seem fair. Like you would think that, you know, a God that loves you and sees that you don't have much, he will go out of his way to give you more instead of take even a little bit that you have away from you. Um, but that's just simply not the way it works. Um, you don't get what you want, you get what you are. That's how the law of attraction works. That's these are just the rules of engagement for this physical universe that we occupy and the spiritual universe that controls it. Those are the rules of engagement. It goes back to that Mark 11:24, when it says, "When you stand praying, believe that you have already received it, and then you will get what you're asking for." So, you know, begging God and crying out. I mean, obviously, as a human being, when, shit hits the fan and it's overwhelming, I mean, you might shed a tear. I mean, you might cry, but you can't stay there because it's it inhibits your ability to attract what you want into your life. So you look at, say, you're praying for money, and you're begging the Lord, like, "Lord, I got this dude. This is I got a disconnection notice, and I love you, Lord, and I've been going to church and I've been being faithful. I need you to help me, please, Lord, help me." And nothing happens. And the reason that nothing happens is because that's a weak prayer. You're specifically told to believe that you've already received it. So if you're believing that you've already received it, you're not going to beg for him to remedy that situation, right? So if money is this, or abundance is what you need, you can't get to abundance from a place of lack. And if you're begging, the energy that you're projecting to God is an energy of lack. And you only get what you are. So more lack is going to be added to it. Whatever you focus on remains or gets worse, or remains or gets better. It goes both ways. So, like I said, it seems unfair, but these are just the rules of engagement. You have to believe that you've already received it. You can't get to abundance from a place of lack. You can't get to healing from a place of sickness, right? It's really simple when you look at what the scripture says and how you need to apply it. This is where the whole faking it till you make it comes in, and it's difficult. I mean, it was difficult for me. It still in some situations, I had to catch myself from focusing on what I've already created versus what I need to create. So if I have some type of financial burden, the natural thing for a human to do is to just think about the worst case scenario. What's going to happen if I can't pay the mortgage, or I can't make the car payment, or I can't pay the light bill or this bill or that bill or whatever the case may be. Um, and then you stay there. And then when you stay there, I mean, thoughts just, they build and they snowball. Now, if it gets out of control, you're going to attract more calamity. You will get evicted. You will lose that car, or your lights will get shut off. You know, I've been in all those situations before until I learned how to focus my mind on what I wanted to happen versus what has already happened, right? The power, the more we end up giving more power towards what we see in 3D versus what created what we see. It's just the whole scenario of the watch and the watchmaker. What's more powerful, the wristwatch or the one that created the wristwatch? Right? So, what's more powerful, the circumstance or the thoughts that created the circumstance? Well, obviously, it's the thoughts that created the circumstance. So, because of that, we need to spend the majority of time and effort and focus on what creates what we see, right? Because this is the power right here in your mind, in your imagination. So basically, you imagine an abundant scenario. You felt abundant before. You know how it feels when all your bills are paid and you got money left over. Maybe you got to reduce it to like a tax time situation where you've paid all your bills are paid, and then you have an overflow of money that you can decide what to do with. That's an abundant feeling, you know. In the in the car business, a lot of people get that abundant feeling around tax time. They'll come in there with like $4,200 in their pocket and just are beside themselves. I had a boy tell me, "Man, I'll buy this whole lot." I said, "I bet you will." But that's what you have to feel, that abundance. You have to feel like you could buy this whole lot, right? But not just around tax time. Remember what it felt like when you thought that money was no object. You've had that situation happen to you before. Everybody's had it. Where money wasn't an issue, right? Remember that feeling and then go back in your mind and regenerate that feeling. And then persist in that feeling, regardless of what these circumstances are, right? Take the power away from what you see, right? And it's not like ignoring what you see. I mean, this is real stuff. I mean, the bills are due at a certain time, right? But if you just focus on your inability or the thought that you can't pay these bills because of the circumstance of your bank account or the circumstance of how much your check is versus what you owe going out, it's going to stagnate you and it's going to create havoc in your life. You have to fake it till you make it. Create that feeling of abundance in your mind, right? And then hold on to it. The same exact thing as if you're sick or you have a sickness. You know how it feels. You weren't always sick, so you know how it feels. to be free of sickness. You know what healthy feels like. You've been healthy before. So you need to go back in your mind to a time that you were healthy, right? And meditate on that and focus on that, right? And you're going to have 3D conditions where you're going to feel pain, like real life pain that you can feel from whatever ailment that you have. But you need to persist in the feeling of health. Like when my back was giving me so many problems. My back would go out all the time. And it was just, you never know how much your back means to you until it goes out on you. But I would say, once I knew that my focus on that pain was lengthening my healing process and lengthening the amount of time that I felt pain, I would say something like, you've heard the saying that pain is just the body removing weakness. And I would just keep saying that to myself. I would keep affirming health, because the watchmaker that created the body can also heal the body, right? And I just started doing, and when I started thinking that way, the universe, God, or whatever you want to call it, created circumstances that led me to not having that. My thoughts of health, right, led me to these different yoga exercises that I do, right? I do yoga probably like at least 4 or 5 times a week, right? My back hasn't gone out in years since I started yoga. Also, I do these exercises, but I wasn't led to. I didn't see these videos, or I didn't get that phone call from a friend, or I didn't bump into that person at the health food store until I fine tune my mind to know that I can heal myself, right? Or I would be led on the path to healing myself. So you have to take the focus. Remember how powerful your mind is, and whatever you focus on is what your life is going to be reflected in your 3D circumstances. So I just wanted to give you a little bit of encouragement, give you a little bit of background on that particular verse, and just be cognizant on what you're focusing on, because you are powerful. I mean, your mind. I mean, it's the greatest gift. It's the greatest. It's the great equalizer. You could take somebody with enormous amounts of talent, with a shitty mindset or a bad mindset, and somebody that has way less talent with a stronger mind is going to go way further in life. So, you've seen it happen 1,000 times. I mean, so anyway. I just wanted to give you a little bit of encouragement. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already. And God bless you. Have a beautiful week. Bye-bye.